Hello and welcome to a writing lesson with Guru Obed. In today's lesson, we'll introduce a writing prompt, look at some poor writing examples, and then look at some model writing examples and break down what makes it so great. So, let's get into it. For today's writing prompt, we're going to keep it quite simple. We're going to do a day in my life. For this prompt, you should make sure to mention what time you start your day, your morning routine, what you did throughout the day, as well as how you felt throughout the day. And we're going to write this in past tense. So we're going to write about it like if it were at the end of the day. We're writing about our day in our English journals, things like this, okay? For the poor example writing, we have I started my day at 5 a.m. Then I had coffee and oatmeal before work. I took a break from work to have lunch, then worked for a bit more. Once I finished working, I went out with my wife and my son. Once we got back home, I played some video games, had dinner, and studied for the rest of the evening. Today was pretty nice. Now, on paper, this does meet all of the criteria for our writing prompt. So we mentioned what time we start our day. So I started my day at 5 a.m. We talk about a little bit on the morning routine. So we had coffee and oatmeal. And then we talk about what we do throughout the day. So I worked today, I went out with my family, and I played some video games. But we don't really have any details. We don't provide any extra content. We mention and introduce these ideas, but we don't expand on them. In English writing, typically, if you introduce an idea, if you introduce a concept, you're going to want to expand on it. So, we're going to go ahead and look at our model writing example. But before we do that, go ahead and write what you have to write and comment it down below. And I'll make sure to give you some feedback on your writing. Great. Now that you've went ahead and commented your writing below, let's go ahead and look at the model writing. So, I started my day at 5 a.m. I made myself a cup of coffee and a bowl of oatmeal as soon as I got out of bed. Today was a work day for me, so I made sure I was ready to start work at 6 a.m. I worked until noon, then I took a 30-minute lunch break. I had a smoked beef sandwich for lunch. After my lunch break, I only had an hour and a half of work left, so I was feeling great. I finished work at 2 p.m. and then went grocery shopping with my wife and my son. Once we got home, I decided to unwind by playing some video games. After gaming for a while, I made some spaghetti for dinner, then I spent the rest of the evening studying. Today was a great day. Work was great, it was nice getting out of the house, and I really enjoyed the spaghetti I made for dinner. So right away, in the beginning, we can see I mentioned what time I start my day. That's standard. We did that even in the last one. But we also mentioned I made myself a cup of coffee and a bowl of oatmeal. We didn't just have a cup of coffee and didn't just have a bowl of oatmeal out of nowhere. I made that for myself, and we make sure to introduce that. We also include the detail as soon as I got out of bed. Then I mentioned, so today is a work day. So I had to make sure to start work at 6 a.m. So we're also including this extra detail of what time I started working. Then we mentioned I work until noon. So we go into a little bit more detail. Obviously, we know if we take a lunch break, typical kind of work day, it's around noon. But I went ahead and specified it was right at noon that I took my 30-minute lunch break. Again, providing more details right there, exactly how long my lunch break was. We also went ahead and mentioned what I had for lunch. It was a smoked beef sandwich. Then we go on to mention some more. I went on to work on one more hour and a half. So we worked an hour and a half after lunch break. So I was feeling great. Again, I'm mentioning how I'm feeling throughout the day, not only at the end of our writing. I'm mentioning it here in the writing as well. I finished work at 2 p.m. So I mentioned exactly what time I finished working. And then I don't only mention that I went out with my family. I mentioned what it is I went out with my family to do. So we went grocery shopping. I went grocery shopping with my wife and my son. And then we got home, so we didn't even really include that in the poor example writing. So we mentioned, once we get back home, decided to unwind. I was tired. I had worked. I had gone out with my family. So we used this word unwind by playing some video games. After gaming for a while, I made some spaghetti for dinner. So again, adding this extra detail. So I made it, And what did I make? I made spaghetti. I made spaghetti for dinner. Then I spent the rest of the evening studying. Then here we go. Finally, we have today was a great day. So, why was today a great day? Work was great. It was nice getting out of the house, and I really enjoyed the spaghetti I made for dinner. So all throughout, this is just more complete writing. Anything that was introduced was expanded upon. And that's truly the key to having good writing in English. I hope you enjoyed this writing lesson and were able to take something from it. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Till next time.